Hey guys, hope you're doing awesome. So today I want to talk to you about the topic of glute activation and why it's so important to do glute activation exercises before any lower body strength training workout that you might want to do, especially if you're new to weightlifting. Super, super important. So I started lifting weights pretty regular, somewhat inconsistently back in the summertime, like in July. And since I'm already pretty strong and pretty fit, and I've been doing HIIT workouts for a few years, I felt like, okay, like I'm really fit. I can just like jump in and start at a heavier weight. Like I can handle it because I'm like just strong, and that's just what I was thinking. But I noticed a few things when I did this. So first of all, not doing glute activation, and second of all, starting out lifting too heavy, I noticed that I would get a really sore lower back. And I also noticed that I did notice some muscle growth in my quads and my hamstrings, but my butt wasn't really changing shape at all. It was like, yeah, it wasn't getting any more bigger or rounded or firmer or anything like that. It was just staying the same, but I was noticing other changes, and my low back was really sore. So after only a couple months, I had already progressed to doing a set of 10 squats at 135 pounds, and I would do 6 sets of that. And I was doing deadlifts at 140 pounds, 10 to 12 reps of that for 6 sets. So I was doing pretty heavy, lifts for someone who had just started. And I realize now that all of the work was coming from my quads, my hamstrings, and my low back because my glutes weren't firing at all. When I was in the gym with Denise, she'd always and she'd be getting me to do hip thrusts and glute bridges, and she'd be okay, squeeze your glutes, use your glutes, and I would never really feel my glutes. It's even doing squats, I'd be squatting, and even on the way up, I'd feel everything in my quads mostly and my hamstrings, but my butt just felt numb. I didn't feel anything in my butt, and I was like, this is weird. I don't know what's going on, but whatever. And it got to a point in November and December when I was like, oh, my low back is just really sore. I don't know, I don't know what's going on. What should I do? Should I back off the weights or whatever? And he says yeah, I think you're probably lifting too heavy. But anyways, I also read this book by Bret Contreras. It's one of Denise's textbooks, and there's a chapter about glute activation in that book. And basically in the chapter, it explains how, due to our modern lifestyle, most of us have very underactive glutes, and the neural pathways are pretty much shut down. So most of us, when we do anything, we aren't using our glutes. We're just using all the other muscle groups around it. So our quads, our hamstrings, and our low back, which is why my low back was getting so sore, because it was doing all the work. So anyways, I read this chapter and I was like, oh, my glutes aren't firing. That it makes a lot of sense. So in this chapter, there's a whole bunch of sorry about the construction noises. I'm in Mexico, and it's you can't get away from construction. So anyways, in this chapter, there was a whole bunch of glute activation exercises that he suggested, and I tried them all pretty much, but I just picked a few that were my favorite. So in this video, I'm gonna go through the ones that I do, my glute activation exercises that I do before each workout, every single lower body workout. And it's making such a huge difference. Only within 2 months, I'm already seeing, or a month and a, no, it's been a month and a half since I started doing these. I am seeing my butt definitely change shape. It's just a completely different shape. Well, not completely, but you know what I mean. It's a different shape, and I'm just getting different lines, and just, yeah, and also I can actually feel my butt when I'm doing these exercises. It's whoa, I have muscles there that I just couldn't feel before. And I've also gone down, backed off on the weight a lot. So I backed down on my squats, back down to 95, and for hip thrusts I'm doing really lightweight, 55 or something like that. So, but I'm actually feeling my glutes, because I can do a heavy hip thrust with I don't know, 115 pounds, but I won't feel it in my butt. I will feel it in my hamstrings and my low back will get sore. So that tells me that I'm not actually using my butt for that exercise. So in order to grow the butt, tone the butt, you gotta be obviously using the butt. So that is what I'm gonna show you in these exercises today.
All right, so I start off every workout with clamshells, and clamshells really activate that glute med, which is especially weak and underactive in most people. If you do squats and you notice that your knees cave inwards, that's a sign of a weak glute med. So I like to start with that, and for the clamshells, you want to stack your hips, get on your side, and you want the angle between your torso and your thighs to be about a little bit over 90 degrees, and you want the angle between your thighs and your shins to be at about 90 degrees. And you want all the movement just coming from your hip. You don't want you to be opening your hip or like swinging, you know, back and forth. So this is what you don't want to be doing. You don't want to be rotating your entire core, obviously. So there you're using your core and your hip more. What you really want to just do is keep everything still, stack the hips, open and close, and you really want to feel it kind of in the top side part of your butt. If you're feeling it in the front more, of like on the front of your body near your hip flexor, then you need to kind of change the angles. Everybody's a little bit different. Okay, and then so I move on to some just regular abductions. So lying on your side, I'm not really in a straight line, but try to be in a straight line. And I just do about 10 to 20 lifts like that, just until I feel a nice burn. And then this one's not from the book. I just kind of made this one up myself. I used to do this in a group exercise class, something similar. But I kind of I rotate kind of towards the ground and pointing the toe down, just doing more raises like that. I just feel it in a different part of my butt. So yeah, that one's not from Bret Contreras. I just kind of do that one because I really feel it burning in my butt in a different area. And I do about 10 to 20 reps of those just until I feel it's like really burning and crampy, and you know, you can feel it working. Okay, so next I'm just going to show you what anterior and posterior pelvic tilt is. So that's in posterior pelvic tilt, and this is anterior pelvic tilt. Posterior and anterior. Okay, so I spent most of my life walking around in anterior pelvic tilt, and that's another thing that really caused my low back issues. And so when I'm doing these glute bridges, I'm focusing each time to stay in posterior pelvic tilt, because and I have like a kind of a bigger curve in my lower back. So if that's you too, then try to really keep your hips in a posterior pelvic tilt while you're doing all of these exercises, and that'll help make sure your glutes are activating and you're not using your low back as much. So yeah, you just want to bridge up as far as you can, really squeeze your butt, and I do usually about 20 reps of these. I just kind of keep going until it really burns, and yeah, that's effective. Okay, the last exercise that I do is bird dog. So I'm showing you the beginner version here. So if you're just starting, you can get on your hands and knees and just reach your foot back, squeeze your butt, try to keep your core extremely still. If that's easy for you, you can use the opposite arm and touch your shoulder. And I know this looks easy, but you just really need to concentrate on keeping that core extremely still and try not to move through your low back. So the next progression is to lift the arm and the leg at the same time. And as you can see here, I'm moving a little bit. My form isn't perfect, but you know, just do the best you can. You should really be feeling this in your glute. You're just using your glute to push that leg back And at the top of the movement, just really squeeze your butt, and you should really be feeling it, especially after all the clamshells and glute bridges and lying side abductions that you just did. You should definitely be feeling this one. And yeah, I know this one looks easy, but it's definitely not. It definitely takes a lot out of me. I usually just do 6 to 8 reps on each side of this one.
Alright guys, thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you try these exercises out. They seriously made such a huge difference for me. So try it out, let me know how your progress goes, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys!